Hi guys, today I'm going to share with you 3 things that I changed in my life as an INFJ that completely changed my life. It took me from a life of surviving, getting by, feeling frustrated, feeling not feeling any passion at all, constantly searching for a purpose and wondering what the point was to all of this, if you get what I mean, to a life of thriving where I'm excited about things. I'm doing the things that I want to do. I'm following my passions. I'm following my visions that I had. I have the confidence to do it and not really care about other people's opinions of me, their judgments, not being scared to do it, that sort of thing. I'm going to share with you 3 things that I changed in my life that took me from an INFJ life of surviving to the INFJ life of thriving. And it was huge because before I did all these things, before I made some changes, I was like a whipped puppy. You know, like when you watch those dog videos, the rescue ones that completely will depress you and you'll wonder what the hell you were watching it for. But you see the little dog in the corner of the shelter that's dirty and scared and shivering. And it's kind of how I thought of myself. When I think back to how I was, that's what I see, is that kind of a dog sitting in the corner because I was scared of everything. I was quiet, extremely quiet, never shared my thoughts, never shared my perspectives, nothing like that. Agreed with everybody, never disagreed because that was horrible. It might cause conflict, it might cause waves. People might actually notice I was alive. Scared all the time. I was scared no matter what. It felt like everything in my life was a threat. It didn't matter, even if it was just going to the grocery store, I was terrified. I was scared of everything. I was worried. I worried about worrying. I took jobs I didn't like, and I would stay there for years wondering, what the hell are you doing, Trina? Why are you here? Going to work in the morning and being disappointed because the office didn't burn down the night before. Not that I wanted anyone to get hurt. I didn't. That's why I wanted it through the night. Nobody would be there. But then I wouldn't have had to go to work, right? There would have been an excuse why I would have had to go find something else to do. An excuse. Why? I stopped making those excuses. I never did anything I ever wanted to do. I would see other people following their passions, loving their life, doing things they wanted to do. They didn't like their job, they would quit it and go and find something they liked better and not even give a second thought about it. And I'm like, how can you do that? I wanted to be that person, but I didn't know how. I started working on myself back in 2008 was when I initially started working on myself. However, I didn't get serious until 2012. Reason being, in 2008, there was a big life change and I was a really empty shell. It left me just feeling, that's basically what I was. I was an empty shell. I had no idea who I was. 2012, I managed to work on myself for a few years. So 2012 was another big life change. That's when I got serious. I had worked enough on myself to get the confidence to get very serious and dive deep into working on myself. And this is what I'm going to share with you today are 3 things that I did that really made a huge impact on my life. Okay. The first one is I found out my type, my personality type. Now I know if you're watching this, you probably already know you're an INFJ, but stick with me on this for just a sec because I go a little bit deeper into just discovering that I was INFJ. I dove deep into understanding everything I possibly could about that specific personality type. I still do this. Anything that I come across, whether it be a blog, a post, a social media post, podcast, I love podcasts, another YouTube video, I watch it. If it's for an INFJ, if it's for an intuitive, if it's for a highly sensitive person, if it's for an empathic people, I watch it because that is us. That is INFJ. I watch it, I listen to it, I read it. Yeah, I might know a lot of already what they're talking about, but I might grasp a piece that I can take that will fit with another piece that I learned a while ago. And I'll be like, oh, hey, well, isn't that interesting? Another piece to the puzzle. Okay. I understood why I do the things I do. I fully understood it, crystal clear. Why I feel the way I feel. Again, crystal clear. It wasn't, well, I think I do this because. No, I know. I clearly know why I do the things I do. Not everybody knows why I do the things I do, and it really doesn't matter. I know why I do the things I do. So I found out my type. With that, I went even deeper and I found out my strengths. Now, I'm not saying that I read about my strengths that were, you know how you can read about INFJs and they have these strengths. Yeah, I mean, INFJs were born with strengths. Okay, it's no different than any other personality type. There's just some things that that specific personality type is born with that we're good at or that they're good at. That is cool. Yep. I read about those. I went deeper and I did a strengths assessment. Now, I don't know if there are free ones online. I did the Clifton Strengths. Maybe there's a free version online. I don't know. I know Myers-Briggs for personality types has some great ones online that are very accurate, that are free. The Clifton might, I don't know. I took the actual Clifton from a Clifton practitioner, I'm going to call her. She's a friend of mine, so I actually did her workshop. I am not affiliated with her in any way, shape, or form. However, I do recommend doing this workshop. It's not expensive, and you learn so much about yourself that it will blow your mind. It was a huge life changer for me, just about as big as actually learning my personality type. If you want the name of my friend, let me know in the comments or email me. I think my email address is in my profile, and I will get you her name because I know she's running a workshop within the next 2 weeks. But I do highly recommend this because it is amazing, finding your strength. I didn't think that I had any. Of course, I read about what INFJs are good at. Again, it was like the blanket strength, right? Learning my strengths was so interesting because my top 3 were things that I actually hated about myself. So learning that that those are actually strengths of mine, and that's why it keeps coming up in my life and why I keep wrestling with it is because it's something that I'm damn good at. I was able to start leaning into them and utilizing them in my life, which led me down a whole different path. Understanding all of that about me, I was able to start healing the shame that I felt about myself, which again opens a whole bunch more doors. That impacts your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your self-worth. When you heal that shame that you feel about yourself, it's amazing the weight that gets lifted off your shoulders. You start to feel really good about yourself. You start showing up differently in your life because you're not scared if somebody sees you and doesn't like what they see. Oh, well, maybe you don't like what you see there either, and that's okay. The second thing that I did was I gave myself permission to be me. I know, it's kind of a cliche, right? You see this on social media all the time. Give yourself permission to be you. Give yourself permission for self-care. But you know what? It is actually a serious thing. It's actually a real struggle. I had to verbally give myself permission to be me. Doing this, and I remember when I did it one summer day out on my deck. I'm like, you know what? I feel like reading. It's a beautiful summer day. I've got lots of yard work to do. I live on a huge acreage that has tons of yard work, and I feel like Forrest Gump in the summertime because all I do is cut the grass. But I really just feel like reading, and I just want to read. I gave myself permission to be an INFJ who loves to read, who just wants to sit on the deck, daydream, and read that afternoon. Once I gave myself permission to be me, it allowed me to let go of other people's appraisals about who I am, about me, which was another huge thing. I spent my life trying to be accepted. I mean, what INFJ doesn't, right? You want acceptance. I want acceptance. That's what we do because we're misunderstood. We're pushed away. We're judged so harshly, most of us, through our life. So we want acceptance. So we worry about what other people think about us. We worry if we're being misunderstood. This allowed me to just drop it. And that's exactly what it was like. It was like I just opened my hands and poof, it was gone. I didn't care. I didn't care if somebody drove into my yard and I was sitting on my deck, sipping on some ice water, lost in a book while my grass was too tall and I probably should be mowing it. They had a problem with it. I'd throw them the keys to my lawnmower, then go cut my grass. I'm doing this because this is what I feel like doing. I didn't care. I stopped feeling like the victim. I stopped feeling like that victim. I got rid of that victim mentality. Yep, I had some crappy life experiences. I mean, what INFJ doesn't? We're judged, we're ridiculed, trauma, lots of childhood trauma with INFJs. I mean, you can't go and treat a child badly, tell them they're stupid, tell them how ugly they are all the time and not think it's not going to create trauma. I let go of that instead of using it as a victim of, oh man, you know what? I was told I was ugly. I was told I had no potential. Yep, that's what I was told. But you know what? It made me who I am today. That was an experience that was a horrible experience. What did I learn from it? I learned that I'm from a family of narcissists, really, is what I learned. Then I started studying them. And that's a whole new story for another day. But anyway, you get the idea. I was able to just let go of that. And it didn't matter. Those were experiences that I pack with me. And I learned from it. Okay? I learned to dive deep and understand other people. Again, back to the whole narcissist thing, right? Instead of being a victim. I figured out what I learned from it. If people don't get me, that's fine. They don't have to. I enjoy my solitude. I allowed myself time to think and deep thought during the day. INFJs daydream. We daydream. That is like one thing we're really good at. Those daydreams take us places. Whether it be a story that you're thinking of that you're going to write later on that's going to entertain people, or a vision for maybe it's a business or something for your career, whatever it may be. That is what we do, and it's important that we give ourselves time to do it. I relaxed and I felt my feelings, which was huge because when I allowed myself to feel feelings, which most INFJs don't do because we were ridiculed as kids, called sissy, crybaby, that sort of thing, because we feel those feelings very deeply. When I allowed myself to finally feel those feelings, which goes hand in hand with giving myself permission to be me, it sparked my intuition. Something that I didn't really experience before because I had shut that off. Again, from things that I was told when I was younger. When I sparked that, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I think I need to follow it. And I started following it. Was it scary? Yes. Did I have to learn how to trust it? Yes, I did. It was scary because it was different. It was a change. But once I started to, and I'm still learning how to trust it. It's a whole journey all in its own. But it was amazing where it started taking me, right? Like today, I had a complete different video planned out for you today. All the notes written. When I was eating lunch with my son right before I recorded this, I got the idea. This just came into my head that, you know what? No, I have to do this video. This is what I need to do today because one person needs to hear it. So this is what I need to do. So I followed it, did this video instead. I'll do that video another day. Allowed myself to be me. Advice that was given to me one day, and I carry this with me. I've carried it with me for a few years now, and I may have shared it on another video, is other people's opinions of you are none of your business. So what people think about us, it's none of our business. I loved it. When I thought about it and I thought deeply about it, I'm like, you know what? That is so true. And it goes hand in hand with giving myself permission to be me. People can think all they want. They can misunderstand me. They might not get me. Okay, that's fine. None of my business. Probably something they got to go work out. And it's okay. Number 3, the next thing I did was I accepted my uniqueness. This was huge. It sounds kind of silly, but it's huge. INFJs are unique. There's no way around it. We're different, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We really are different. There's not a lot of us, although they do say we make up between 1% to 3% of the population. I do question that. I think it might be a little bit skewed because I think a lot of us stayed in hiding just because we didn't want to be noticed. But who am I to judge that research? I'm just saying, just my thoughts. I'm just sharing my thoughts. Anyway, with that, we're unique. Our thoughts are unique. Our ideas are unique. Our interests, our hobbies, everything about us is unique. Personal development for INFJs is done in a unique way. INFJ, if you are into personal development, which lots of INFJs are, haven't you found that when you're following the big gurus, some of the stuff works really well for us, but there's a lot that doesn't because there's a missing piece. Haven't you found that? I know I did. And it was because we're unique. So what works for other people doesn't necessarily work for us. And it's probably not going to, because everything about us is unique. Our life, our thriving life is unique. It's not different. It's unique too. So we go from a life where we survive. That's what a lot of INFJs live, is that life where they're just surviving, to a life where they're thriving. It's unique. It's going to be unique to them. It's not going to go on society's standards, society's expectations. What society thinks as normal is not going to work for an INFJ. Once I realized that, I seen the pattern that, oh, you know what? Everything about us is unique. My life, the life I want to live, is unique too, and that's okay. Why wouldn't it be? We're unique. So embrace it. It doesn't matter if it goes against what society thinks is normal. There's no normal anyway. I don't like the word normal, and I don't like the word abnormal. I like the word unique. And I do think everybody is unique. It doesn't matter the personality type. I do think everybody's unique to a degree, but I do know INFJs are very, very unique. Our train of thought, the way we take in information, come to decisions, that sort of thing is super unique compared to everybody else. So of course, the life that we're going to live is going to be different, much different than everybody else's. And they're not going to understand it. And they don't have to, because it's not their life. Once I accepted that, everything started to change for me. It gave me courage to pursue my dreams, my passions. And it didn't matter what other people were thinking about me, because they couldn't understand it, because they're not unique like I am. Other INFJs probably could totally understand it. And I know they could, because I have a lot of INFJ friends, and I would run by my ideas with them, and they totally could see my vision. I would share it with somebody that wasn't, and they kind of like looked at me like I was an alien, like, what planet are you from? That's never going to work. So accepting the fact that we're unique is a big deal, and our life is going to be unique, different from everyone else. Our jobs are probably going to be unique. What I do for work is totally different than most people. I am an INFJ life coach. There's not a lot of us out there. It's totally unique. If you're not an INFJ, people don't get it. People don't get what I do. I kind of get the eye roll, the big eyebrow, like, really? That's what you do for work? Is there money in it? That's what I get asked all the time. No, there's definitely not money in it. That's why I do it for work. That's what I feel like saying to people. But anyway, they don't have to understand it, because it's not for them. It's unique for me. So that's what I did. I found out my type, understood it, gave myself permission to be me, and accepted my uniqueness within a huge amount of depth. In a nutshell, there's a little bit more of what I did, but I don't want to make this video too long, and I've already gone way too long keeping you guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sticking with me. I hope this was helpful. If it was helpful, please like this video. Please feel free to share it. And I do encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, if it feels right for you. And thank you again for joining me, and I will see you again soon. Again, don't worry about everybody else's approval of you, opinions of you. We are unique. Lean into that uniqueness. People of the world need to see you, see how you're shining, because INFJs, we bring a lot to this world, and the world needs to see it. You're an amazing person. Talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.